Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker, and this is WPwatercooler's WPblab, episode number 130. WPblab is made possible this week by our sponsor, ServerPress and Vendor Fuel. Go over to serverpress.com, and they're makers of desktop server. They make local WordPress development easy. Like I said, go over to serverpress.com and you can find out more information about them and all the fun stuff that they have going on over there. This show is not just an audio or video podcast, but it's also an audio podcast. So if you want to, check us out, you can go over to our website over at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe, where you can learn how to subscribe to this show as well as WP Watercooler show, and go take a look at that. Like I said, we do this audio and video on both Thursdays and Fridays, and we'd love to have you come and check us out. One last thing is we send out emails to come on WP Watercooler, and I always have people asking me how to get on the show. And it's super easy. I send you an email, you reply to the email, and you get added to the show. It's like that easy. There's no like extra sign up thing. You don't have to like PayPal me any money. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's just like, that's it. If you want to be on the show and check out the email. And I usually send them on Thursday nights. And it just lets you know that, hey, Friday, if you're available, come on the show. All right, so we talked a little bit about that stuff. Bridget, introduce yourself.
So first I want to say hi to Mark, who's probably mowing his lawn. He's one of our listeners from the audio podcast.
Nice.
Hey everybody, my name is Bridget and I'm with BridgetWillard.com. I am a social media marketer and copywriter who specializes in serving WordPress products and services. If you would like to know more, go to BridgetWillard.com. I do have room for one, maybe two clients. So pretty happy right now, but talk me into letting you send me money. That's the part about being busy. It's good, right? And I love to rant about unfinished songs. This week on BridgetWillard.com, I wrote about the song Shallow from A Star Is Born, which is the fourth remake of this movie, and how that song is completely unfinished. And I got some really nice comments about it, but guess what? The song isn't finished. If you want to check that out, go to BridgetWillard.com.
Awesome.
Cool. I can't always write about marketing. I mean, it is writing though. And I used to be a songwriter.
Right.
So I was like, when did this song transition from he and me to we and they? And you guys missed out a whole bridge. So good job, Bradley Cooper. I've been in love with you since Alias. And in your directing debut, you failed. But I still love you.
Oh, man. Well, I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter. My website is jasontucker.blog. I've actually been using Twitter more now. And I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Twitter. I've been using it since like day one. You used to be able to send a text message to 40404, and then you could track words. No joke. Like you used to be able to do these types of things on Twitter. Now there's so many words, there's no way you could track any of them, and it'd just be insane. But that's where hashtags and all the fun stuff came in. So so I'm doing stuff over on Twitter. I haven't been blogging much. I've been too busy for that stuff. As you can tell, I'm actually in a different place here. I'm actually at work. It's summertime, it's hot. If you see Bridget kind of doing this, it's because it's hot. And all you East Coasters totally understand it because it was hot last week for you guys. And this week it just kind of flew in and just kind of knocked us out. So been very hot.
It's not just hot, Jason, it's humid. Okay. The normal humidity in Dana Point's 43%. When it's 77 degrees, it was 88 when Wendy and I went to Hennessy's at 3.
Yeah.
It's now 7 p.m. It's 4 hours later. It's 77 and 74% humidity.
Goodness,
we don't have air conditioning in our apartments.
Yeah.
All you people who say you're so lucky to live here, I double dog dare you to pay my rent. But I'm telling you, this is when I want an air conditioner. Right now.
So help Bridget out by becoming one of her clients. She has available for 2 more spaces, and that's it.
It's only 2 really bad humid weeks here in Southern California, but boy, we're just not built for it. We're
Nope.
not. It's like those times when it's 39 to 43 degrees and we're like, oh, get my thick hoodie out. I mean, it's true. My East Coast relatives laugh at me, but I'm telling you,
It's up there. Yeah.
if I had an air conditioner, if I could put an air conditioning unit on the top of this,
Right.
but see, it's not just the unit. You would have to install ducting, blah, blah, blah. It's not my property. It doesn't make sense. But also my electricity bill would be so high. But if I were a homeowner, I would get solar, and then I would get an HVAC unit. And then actually, it could probably use the existing ducting because we do have central heating.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much that would cost. I bet it's under $2,000.
Something to ponder, but let's not ponder it during the show. How about that?
But the thing is, we're talking about influencers, right? We're going to talk about influencers, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Influencer marketing, the good, bad, and ugly, exactly. And this was brought to me by another podcast, which is one that I listened to called Buffer Podcast, and they do some really cool stuff over there. I actually enjoy listening to their show because, like I've always said, I'm not a marketing person. I pretend to be one. That's because I do this show and I have my own properties and I got to kind of like, get people to go to them and stuff. But Bridget's a marketer. And so, and it's funny because she doesn't listen to that show, but that's okay.
It probably is going to say what I already think. I love Buffer so hard. I applied to work there. I love Buffer.
Yeah, me too. I really like Buffer a lot. So
they have a strong social science background when they do their research.
Yes, they do. We're just going to riff.
Well, I mean, I've studied social science. Their blogs are awesome. Copy Blogger and Buffer were my main education.
Yeah, I agree.
And what is the name of that podcast? The Science of Marketing?
Science of Social Media.
Social media, yeah.
Yeah. So,
like, you can't talk about people without talking about social science, and that's where the influencers come in. So, if you think about whether you equate it to the animal kingdom and alpha males, or Diane Fossey studying the gorillas with the silverback, there's always somebody that everybody else looks to. And that changes based upon the demographics. There's always going to be somebody that's like, if you're in a WordPress meetup, somebody's talking, you all look and see what's the reaction on his face,
Right.
In WordPress, we listen to Triple J and Rachel Cherry and, and so on, and Zach Gordon and whoever's doing Gatsby JS and et cetera, blah, 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 whatever. But I feel like even though there's always going to be people we look up to, which is why influencer marketing works, going after somebody outside of your market domain is a bad idea. So if I had started this show and all of a sudden you find out I'm working for an HVAC company, or I have an affiliate link for HVAC, and I'm talking about solar panels, and we put the link in the show notes, and you go there, and I'm getting some big fat. It doesn't make any sense for me to talk about HVAC.
Right.
Even though I spent 15 years of my career in roofing and commercial construction, I could completely get away with that. But still, does that resonate with my brand? No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And that's when things get weird. You have this like lane. Yeah, because you have a cognitive dissonance, right? And you can't be like, the person is like, okay, everybody plug in your cars and think that you're super green. And where's that electricity coming from? Oh, the coal burning plants. And then all of a sudden I'm like, everybody go solar. That's not me. Okay, now I love wildlife. I donate to things, sea turtle rescue. I'm not trying to kill things. I would consider myself a California Republican, which is a totally different kind.
Well, yeah, they're
I'm not really a gun person. I don't like smog. I'm fine with environmental regulations. I pretty much just want you out of my wallet, kind of, right? But then if I start like pushing hard on stuff like that, you're like, wait, this doesn't match. That's when influencer marketing goes wrong. Like you see somebody and go, oh, she has a lot of followers, therefore this will work. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because that's not my audience.
Those followers might as well be little eggs on Twitter or any of the other types of things that are out there, because if those aren't real people that are going to, like, your target audience for the thing that you're trying to sell or what have you. So going back to like the WordPress side of things, if you were trying to get somebody to buy one of your themes, you wouldn't go after somebody who's looking to buy like one theme. You're looking for like that big company, that big agency that's buying a ton of themes, so they have a bunch of different things that they can kind of work off of and stuff. Or maybe you are targeting that one particular person, knowing that you have a particular type of theme that's made for their vertical. Then you go like, perfect, this is exactly what you want. You're a mommy blogger, you're a cat blogger, you're a whatever the thing is, or you sell stuff, so you need to have an e-commerce site or something like that. Those are the people that you're, kind of, targeting. So you need to find someone who can influence them without feeling like they're selling something.
Right. So like our friend Chris Lemma, right? He's super into cigars and he's way good at product marketing on e-commerce.
Right.
So you're not going to go after him if you're selling cannabis related products.
Right.
It's not, smoking. It's not the same. Cigar people are not cannabis people. So it's not just that you have that name, right? It's who you have the name with, who you have the influence with. So it really needs to matter. You can't just go after somebody who you consider as your hero or somebody you admire. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a church, you can't go after Gary Vaynerchuk. He cusses way too much.
Right.
It's not going to work. And I've seen so many people do this the wrong way. They're just going after a name without thinking about how it applies to their brand and protecting their own brand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens with fashion a lot. And, one of my clients was going after a franchise to be their spokesperson again. And they went after an influencer and Instagram. I don't think they made a right decision, because it's not about how many followers you have. It's who listens to you. It's not the number, but we've been so obsessed with the number that we're doing things that don't make sense when it comes to a consistency in our branding message. That's when it's a mistake, right? So it's fine that you want, Chris Lemma to be your person if you are a WooCommerce store, because that's where he excels. That's where he has influence. But if you're a photographer, it's not that he's not good at WordPress. It's just that that's not your niche. If you're a creative, you should go after Chris Do, because that guy's is a kick-ass designer, right? But that's the thing, is like, instead of doing that, this is what I have always told my clients, including when I worked with Give. Make your own influencers. So there's a social science theory that we all have influence in a sphere of 12 people or more. That never changes sometimes.
Sure.
But there's always a super fan.
Yeah.
There's always somebody who crazy loves your brand. And what they do is they're constantly sharing your material or retweeting you or posting, your beaver, like here's the beaver builder, right? Now I have an affiliate link with Beaver. He's wearing the WordCamp Orange County hat. Sorry. So here is the beaver builder guy. He has no name. Talk to those guys about this, because Robbie's like, but here's this guy, right? And he's super cute, and he represents something that I use. It's a product I use. I don't use Elementor to build my site.
Right.
I'm using Beaver Builder, and I have an affiliate link. And when I've tweeted out, it makes sense. because I use Builder. Robbie's one of my friends. Okay.
Yep.
But if I start sending out Elementor links just because I've used it, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I don't like Elementor.
Like those people even start questioning you. Like they'll say like, wait, did you switch to something else? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't switch to something. What do you got going on then? What's happening here? And you're like, oh, well, I'm trying to make my $3.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. No.
It really, really matters. It has to be something. Anyway, so to reward me for always talking about it, they made me an affiliate. Well, pretty much anybody can be that, but they sent me swag and stuff like that, right? So that's like how I'm getting rewarded. Sometimes it's money. Now, this is when it gets tricky. Okay? Yeah. Because I know you're not supposed to have dead air, but I did that on purpose. Writing a post about your product and then giving it to a blogger who you pay to post as writing that review is not only super stupid, it's not only unethical, but it's also a violation of the FTC.
Yeah.
You're supposed to disclose that.
Everything, yeah.
Right? And so those people that get paid to review stuff, you know, it's like you and I were talking about on Twitter. When you're reviewing something, well, we're saying tool or tip of the week. We're not just saying, oh, it's this brand of card and I'm using American Greetings because they gave me money. It's something that actually meant something to me. And that segment is being sponsored by fill in the blank. So it can be a really slippery slope. And you have to question the ramifications of how this is going to affect your brand, which is your person. And if you're a WordPress freelancer or agency, this is your livelihood we're talking about.
That is you. Yeah.
It's you. It's really, I asked one time back when I was doing the marketing team, and I was one of the only unsponsored marketing team leads, by the way. I asked Remkus de Vries. I said, Remkus, do you have any advice for me? This is right when he started doing it for Yoast, or Yoast sponsored him. I said, what is your advice for being sponsored to be a volunteer? So this is the same kind of thing, like you're an influencer, right? And he said, make sure that their brand represents your values, not the other way around.
Yeah. That's true. Which has always been a tough thing for me on WaterCooler for sponsorship wise. It's like I only want stuff that I believe in, that I use or would use, and that I feel that is, it's something that I'm putting my name on the thing that is going to then talk about whoever the sponsor is. So Beaver Builder, heck yeah. I use that on all of my sites. Always have, always will. There you go, Right. But something else, no, I'm not using that.
I mean, it would make sense for FreshBooks because I love it and I use it all the time. It wouldn't make sense for Libre Tequila.
Right. Yeah.
Because not only do I not drink that's not my brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink tequila, but it's Casamigos. George Clooney wants to give us money. That's fine. But I don't drink Libre Tequila. I don't drink Hornitos. Like Hornitos, I'd rather have a Diet Coke. That's a waste of alcohol. It's gross. You know what I mean? That's kind of the thing. And I'm trying to be extreme here to not pick on anybody.
Sure.
That's why I'm using these other brands. I'm not trying to be obscure, but
yeah.
If you're talking about forms and you want to, or something, like our 40-minute mark, that is vendor fuel this week, and they use Angular. So they're not going to talk about React.
Right.
They're built on Angular, and Gutenberg is built on React. And there's it's fine to use a framework. I don't know how they work together or whatever, but you have to talk about the things that matter within your scope. But anyway, so we did this at Give. We built our own influencers, but what we did was we would just the people that always talked about our product, we would put them on a special list on Twitter. Everybody knows how much I love Twitter lists. This is just one more reason why. And then they would tweet about it. We would retweet, and we show that we're thankful. Not retweet with the button, but an old school retweet and say thank you. So we have a conversation. And then we would send them stickers and swag. We would recognize them when we are in person. And because here's the thing with marketing and influencers, there's that dopamine response. So when we're rewarded, here's the bad thing about getting new teeth. It really messes with your enunciation. Let me try that sentence again. When we are rewarded, we get a dopamine response, which is pleasure. Okay. There's a whole like science behind dopamine triggers. But once we know that we're going to be rewarded, the dopamine comes first, even before the reward. It's pretty fascinating, right? So this is why I constantly tell people as a social media manager, reward those and recognize those people who are taking the time to talk about your brand. Those are your influencers. You can call them micro influencers or macro influencers, but those are the people that are taking time out of their life to take a selfie with your unnamed beaver to post it on Twitter.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to do that. I could do nothing. I could have given this to my dog and it would have been torn up.
Yep.
You know, it's my choice to affiliate myself with a brand. And so if you recognize that, people will do it more. That's why heroin is addictive and social media is addictive and notifications are addictive. Yeah. A lot of people just swipe on Bumble because they just like getting the match. Dopamine. So if you use that social science to your benefit as a brand, you know, Vito from Feedback WP sent me a bunch of stickers from London in actual mail. It's so cool. I kept it because when's the last time you get stamps from England on paper, real stamps, actual stamps? Like, this is so cool. And I love WP Feedback. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So but I can't just say that until I've used it.
Right.
Well, I've used it. Right. So that's when it becomes a thing. So I would really caution any of our friends from hiring ghostwriters to write reviews.
Yeah.
It's not a good move.
It doesn't feel genuine, and you can tell that it's not genuine. It's those people that are on Amazon that are saying like, this is the best screwdriver ever. And then you're like, but it's a hammer. Like, what happened here? I don't understand. You know, if you know this thing's not a screwdriver and they're telling you it's a screwdriver, you're like, this is not right. Or, you know, you start to smell it in the air that this just doesn't feel right. And yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. And that when you're getting, you also don't want to try to turn somebody who's not going to be a good influencing type of person into that. Like, that's not going to help anything either. And one of the things I was reading about on the show notes on the Buffer podcast that I was kind of referring to here to kind of steal a little bit from their stuff here is that they're saying that this particular episode was more about micro influencers. And they were saying that influencers with 10,000 followers or more have a 3.6% engagement rate. Influencers with 5,000 to 10,000 have a 6.3% engagement rate. And then this is the one that just blows me away. Influencers with 1,000 to 500 followers, which is those people like us, you know, those people, you're at 8.8% engagement rate. And the reason why that is because you're not trying to go for numbers, you're going for quality.
And you have the time.
Yeah.
Once you hit that level, nobody's responding.
Yep.
It's a problem.
It just flies by.
Yeah.
That's not all the socials. That's not just for, I mean, they were talking about this for Instagram for the most part, but when you start talking about Instagram, Twitter, any of those places, those things are flying by and it makes it really difficult.
I mean, there's a lot of people that don't take the time, and it happens with Twitter too, or all of a sudden they got up to whatever number they want, then they dump all their followers. No offense, Jason. But like, that's a bad move, and it just tells me you don't know how to use lists. And the funny thing is, Twitter's new update just made lists way more prominent. And I just been saying this for 10 years. You know,
I'm gonna log in to Twitter for the first time. I haven't been on Twitter's website.
Oh my gosh, it's very backwards and left-handed for me, for a Western right-handed Americans.
Yeah.
Because the tweet button is down on the left instead of being up at the top to compose. It's down here, so like it would be good for any of the languages that go bottom to top, right to left.
Yeah.
Hebrew.
Wow, lists are like right on that thing on the left-hand side.
Yeah, they're super
that's nice.
prominent. And, you know, I really like it. Like, it made me decide to update my blog post on lists. But anyway, so you don't, I know Daphne on the chat's like, I'm not a really big fan of the Twitter layout. I'm not either, but they do have some things that are good. I've been using it for a week with all my clients and I'm getting used to it. One thing is the list. No, the other thing is the account switching. They only let you have 5 accounts, which is not going to work for me. But I just log in, log out. But that's what I like about Twitter Mobile is the account switching. I just go seamlessly from account to account to account. And so they let you have 5 accounts, which would be really nice for a lot of people.
Oh.
But anyway, I digress. So when you have time to spend on Twitter, on Instagram, responding to people, that's how you're building quality contacts. And that's what I always say, is that you really need to build those relationships because the relationships matter. So here's just a small example. And this is why influencer marketing really needs to be more of the micro, which makes sense according to what Buffer was saying. So I have business cards. I ordered them, used to be from Vistaprint. Then Moo came out. Remember Moo? Moo.com?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So I ordered my last like 3 batches from Moo.com. They're so good. I like the mini Moos. I like them all. But I made friends with Keith from Bald Band. He's called Bald Guy Minuteman Press from Polyoop.
Yeah. I remember him.
He's so fun. So Rhonda Nygaard, who redesigned my homepage, redesigned my business cards. So guess who I decided to order from?
Ooh.
Not really that much of a surprise. Bald Guy and Minuteman. I mean, it's really Minuteman Press, Polyoop, Washington, and they're shipping them to me to California. So like, they call me like, oh, wow, would you like them shipped to you, Mrs. Willard? Like the assistant. I'm like, yeah.
No, swing by, we're good.
That's going to be another $10. I'm like, that's fine. I mean, like I order from the internet all the time. But this is where him paying attention on Twitter, he's influenced me to use a franchise brand, Minuteman. Yeah. There's a Minuteman Press. I can walk to it from here.
Huh.
Did I decide to use them?
Yeah.
Nope. That's why the micro influencers is a better strategy. If you build your super fans, they'll all talk to their own groups of people at their WordPress meetups, when they go to the BNI meetings, when they're at Chamber of Commerce like Ross Guile, when they go to WordCamps. Oh, you know how many people, and I did this last year, I gave referral fees at the end of the year to a bunch of people that sent me clients.
Yeah.
It was just like $50 because I can't afford really that much more, but I was like, here's to, Bob WP who sent me Happy. Boom, here's some money. Thanks for sending me this person. Boom, because the thing is, it's just a referral. Influencer marketing is referral marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you should give them rewards, but wouldn't it be better to hire them to do guest blog posts?
Yeah. I think so.
Instead of trying to use their name
right
on the byline, give them $100 and let them write instead of trying to be all like, I'm going to spend $2,000 on this big name. How many people could you hire for 100?
For
and then
2,000
they're
bucks,
all
you did pretty good.
Then they're all going to tell
all
their
day long.
friends. The whole point about influence is getting people out of, you have your first circle of that's you and your friends, second circle,
Right.
friends of friends. You know, you're not really successful until you get to the third or fourth ring. But why don't you hire, instead of spending $2,000 getting some person to blah, blah, blah about your product and, oh, so-and-so thinks it's so great, spend $100 20 times.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
That's what I would do too.
Because then you're going to get all different kinds of influencers, right?
Yeah.
And that, I mean, kind of, you know, that's a lot of times what our friends in WordPress do with their products. They're like, okay, all you guys have lifetime licenses. That's almost like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like CodeBrain bought it. I work for them sometimes. I'm like, WP feedback feedback WP is awesome because I used it.
Right.
And I'm not going to buy a license because why would I need a license? I'm not an agency, but I do work for them, right? So it's that kind of thing where maybe I'm not a big influencer with the agencies because I'm not an agency. I'm not 10 Up. I'm not Human Made. But I use the product with an agency, and I'm talking to you. We're on live TV, or whatever you want to call it, right? I didn't get paid anything. You sent me stickers, and that didn't change. Sarah bought it on her own. And you know what I mean? Use the people who are already talking about your product. Reward them. Because they're just going to they already like it. They're just going to keep talking about you. Let them write a guest post about a case study or sponsor them to go to WordCamp. It doesn't always have to be Bluehost.
Right.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And I think when you're looking for, you know, maybe let's play a little bit of like role playing here with this. So if you're somebody who either makes a plugin or a theme or has some type of service, and you're trying to figure out who to start, like you have people that are already using your product, they're already talking about using your product. So you're not trying to find somebody off the street. You're finding the people that are your super fans, essentially. And you say, hey, you know, we would love for you to, you know, help us out and we'd love to help you out, kind of thing. And you can start with that relationship. How would you approach that as if you were the person that needed to go find those, you know, influencers in our vertical here? Like where's the first place to start with that?
So that's an excellent question. And I would start with how they communicate to us. What in the world is going on outside?
Oh man,
I love living in an apartment so much.
I would have right now.
Yeah. So anyway, if they were tweeting about us a lot, I would say, well, I did this when I was tweeting for Pressable. There's this guy, he's really sweet, he's super smart, his name is Scott. And I would say, oh my gosh, Scott keeps tweeting about us. He's like a huge fan. Claudia, you gotta like loop this guy in on some swag.
Yeah.
You know, in Slack. And then she would do her thing. Right. So if it's a big company, then it's going to be like that kind of situation where the social media person tells customer success. Because in social media, we're kind of the boots on the ground. But if you're at a WordCamp and they come up to your booth, or they come up to you because you spoke or you're wearing the logo, then I would say, oh, that's really interesting. What do you like about the product? Well, man, I really saw that it saved me, you know, about an hour a week. Wow, that's so cool. Do you have would you be interested in writing about your experience for our blog? Oh my God, that would be so cool. I go, that would be, and that's what I've done. And that's what I would do. I mean, obviously I did it, but that's what I would do. And I'd get their information and go, yeah, this is great. I did that for Staging Pilot right before it got acquired by Pantheon. I was talking to the guys from Pixel Jar. And they go, oh yeah, we've been using Staging Pilot forever. It saves us like 50 hours a week. I go, are you serious? They go, yeah, it's the best thing we've ever done. And I said, really? Would you be interested in participating in a case study? Like, of course. And,
Nice.
you know, Brandon was like in on it. And Markowski was like, for sure. And I went over to a free desk and I sent them the questions immediately.
Nice.
And then, of course, as soon as it was published, like Pantheon loved it or whatever. But like I mean, I'm sure that's not because of my blog post, but that's the story I like to tell. But it's like talking to them and organically saying, wow. But if it's like a speaker and they're mentioning your product in their presentation, which you can't pitch, but if they're not a product, I'd be like, wow, that's really awesome. Is there something I can do to kind of like repay you? And then you can do something like, you know, you want to sponsor this person for their next speaking gig. Mm-hmm. You can do something like that, because there's nothing wrong with doing that at all.
Yeah. If anything, that person knows how, that person's already the best person to talk about that subject matter anyhow. And why not partner with those people that are going to talk about that subject matter? And you got somebody who couldn't afford to get to that place. Now you got them there and you paid for a couple things for them and you're good. You know, it's like, yeah, not bad.
That's what I would do.
Not a bad way to go about it.
And because a lot of times they'll either wear your shirt, like I did with Pressable. They sent me to Raleigh and Seattle last year to do keynotes, and I wore their shirt. They paid for my hotel and my lodging, and I wrote a blog post and I acknowledged them in my slides at the end and the front. Yeah. That's what you do. So, but you know, guess what? It's not like I was using SiteGround and Pressable sent me. They were my vendor and I was their customer.
Sure.
This is when it needs to make sense, right? Yeah.
It's just like affiliate marketing, the same thing. I wouldn't sit here and go in some of these places don't even give you an affiliate link until you've actually a customer of theirs, which I think is a pretty smart way to go about it, because now you're not having all these people just running around with your affiliate link trying to get people to click on the thing when they weren't even a good like steward of the message to your potential customers. They're running around going like, click on this link and I'll make $5. Instead of like, hey, click on this link because this product that I just talked about in the previous paragraph explained all this really great stuff about how awesome this product is.
Right. And what if you're an environmentally conscious person or company like Green Geeks, right? They're super environmentally conscious. You don't want to sponsor some affiliate marketer who's driving around, what car can we demonize today? And flying all the time, right? Like Ed Begley Jr. actually rides a bicycle because that's what he believes in. I respect people who go behind their beliefs, right? Yeah. You can't be saying you want vegan ice cream wearing leather shoes. If you're not doing it for dietary reasons, if you're doing it for, I don't think cows should be killed ever reasons, right? So it's basically what you have to avoid is cognitive dissonance.
Makes sense.
It needs to align with your brand. You can't be like, oh, I'm a man of the people, and then when it's time for lunch, you're going to lunch with only your really good friends at a WordCamp, hiding in the green room the whole time.
Right.
Because you're too special for everybody else. I mean, that's, I get that you have to protect people's times. I used to be a church secretary. I get that. I used to have to pretend that my pastor got a telephone call if certain people went to talk to him. Okay? So in WordPress, I get why Matt Mullenweg isn't just out there with the people. Okay? I get that. But you know what? Give me a break. There's a lot of, we're not all Matt Mullenweg. Okay? There's plenty of us to go around. We don't need to be hiding all the time, going out, and saying we're for the people. And then, we're for diversity, but we hired another white man. it's just that stuff. The influencers, like, I would make sure that they just match your goals,
Right.
match your budget goals. I think
And that's the thing is a lot of these people don't even need the money or don't even want the money. They'll take the money, obviously, but if you give them the thing that they've been paying $20 a month for free for the next year as a thank you, then okay. And as long as the person's disclosing the fact that they're no longer paying for the product because they've been paying for it for years and now they're not.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. FTC, you're all good.
Right. And that's the problem with affiliate. I don't think, if you write, I don't put affiliate links necessarily in my blog post because I really only have one and it's for Beaver Builder. But if I were, you have to disclose it. And
Right.
sometimes when I tweet about my clients, I'll put a asterisk and say client. Because I feel like if I'm talking about, back when it was Staging Pilot or whomever, I would always say asterisk client. I'm not getting money for that tweet, but I believe in them. And that's why I don't take anybody in more than one vertical, whatever. Right. You know what I mean? It's just like, to me, it's just, I think that I've seen a lot of shady practices.
Sure. I've seen it just as, whenever you think of affiliate marketing, you have that kind of like, ooh, but there's good stuff to that too. And we even talked about this on Twitter. It was like this idea that it's okay to have an affiliate link in your stuff. If you were the one that spent hours, I literally spent hours and hours and hours looking for a solution to a thing. Sometimes I even spend dollars to buy all the different things to figure out which one's the best one. And then go like, okay, here's the best one. And
right.
And it's the best one for me. It may not be the best one for you, but it's the best one for me. And I even like looking at Chris Lima's old posts. He used to get all of these different products and try them all out. He gets all these different kinds of headphones and tries them all out.
Yeah.
He's not trying to like go and write a bunch of blog posts about how great these headphones are. He's trying to find the best one. And then when somebody asks, hey, Chris, what's the best one? He's like, what are you trying to listen to? What are you trying to do?
Right, because he's doing a consumer report style.
Right.
He's not just like, Bose didn't just send him a big giant check. Right. And it's like, Bose, everybody Bose for the whole world. Nope. Bose for you, everybody gets a Bose. But speaking of tools, you know what time it is? It's time for Tool or Tip of the Week. And this Tool or Tip of the Week is brought to you by Vendor Fuel. Vendor Fuel is a next generation shopping cart plugin that will ignite your e-commerce. Built using Angular, Vendor Fuel lets you keep your customers on your website for the entire checkout experience. Start a 90-day free trial now at Ignite Your Commerce at vendorfuel.com, VENDOR fuel.com. So my tool or tip of the week is Twine. Twine is an app from John Hancock. And it took me a while and I'm like, what am I talking about this week? But I really like it. It's just stupid. It's just such a stupid thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's called Twine, and oops, it wants my ID. And you get these goals and stuff like, what do you want to save for? Right. I saved $45 this month, and it automatically withdraws based upon your goals. So I did a goal of $3,000 for a vacation. It's only by giving $15 a week, it's gonna take me until May 2023, whatever. They invest the money, they take it out, and it's like making me save money. Even though it's only $15 a week, that's $60 a month that I'm not spending on bourbon. It's going in my savings account, and I've already had earnings of $7.62. I've been using it for a while. I actually did withdraw money from it when I actually started. I had to take $100 out. So sure. There's no like withdrawal fee. I mean, there's no penalties, yeah. But you could set yourself up for because I thought, you know what, it's true. I don't really feel like those sneaky SaaS money is coming out. Like I have life insurance for $100,000, $23 a month. Term life insurance, I don't feel $23. So I was like, oh, I should do this. At first I did $10 a week. I'm like, I'm gonna do 15. I'm feeling fancy now, right? And it's not my banking account. So it's not like, oh, I'll just transfer that in, go out. It's just when it's super easy to transfer money for me, I'm like, who cares? I'll just go out with my friends.
Right.
Live life today. Nobody has a promise of tomorrow. But anyway, the Twine app from John Hancock I like it. I think it's really good. I like how it talks to you about stuff. And, I'm not young anymore. I'm 4 years away from being 50. But the Social Security says I can retire at 72. So,
hey.
Yeah, I'm going to work until I die. But still, like,
right.
It's a good way for me to get used to rat holing money, even though it's not a lot. It's still better than zero.
Yeah. Why not,
So I like that tool. I think it's going to be kind of a game changer for me. I've been using it for about 6 months.
Oh, not bad, not bad. Very cool. Well, mine, trying to remember if I actually talked about this one or not. So we'll see, because I use a lot of stuff. And,
I know.
And not only do I use a lot of stuff, but I also try a bunch of things and then ditch them, quickly and go like, this thing sucks. On to the next one. So I, just like you and most people, have a lot of email addresses. I have, like for at least the ones I'm looking at currently, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have like 5 email addresses that I always look at. And these are each of the different kind of ventures of Jason Incorporated. And so what I use this for is, and one of them is my work email address. So what I use this for is this thing called Shift. And so Shift's an app that it's a little pricey. I think it's even, if I remember correctly, it's even like a subscription service for it. But what Shift does on a Mac, I don't think they have a Windows version of it, but it's just a Mac software, is it lets you load up all your different Gmail accounts, all in one interface. So on the left-hand side, you get a bunch of little faces of all of your little avatars. And then at the very bottom, if you have any like web-based applications such as like Slack or Facebook Messenger, or there's a whole bunch of different products that use it. If you use Evernote or WhatsApp, any of those sorts of things, those are all web-based things. It'll load those up as well. And so on the left-hand side, just is a whole bunch of different emails. At the very bottom is all the different like web app type things, and you're able to switch between them quickly and easily. What's nice about it is at the very top right-hand side, you have email, you have calendar, and you have Google Drive. And when you click on it, it's like switching tabs, but you have all these tabs open all at once, all in this nice, clean little interface. So for one, I can go in there and there's a big search button on the search thing up at the top. I can search for the word Bridget, and it will not just search one account, but it'll actually search all of the accounts all at the exact same time.
That's cool.
So if I can't remember who I contacted this person through via email, I can just type it in there real quick and it'll look for it and then find it for me. There's a couple other things in here. For instance, they have these extensions that you can install. So if you want to use something like Boomerang or Dropbox for Gmail or GoToMeeting or Grammarly, which is one of my favorite things. If you use LastPass or a ton of different stuff. Zoom even, if you do a lot of Zoom scheduling things, you can just click on it and it'll take care of the scheduling for you. But what's nice about this is it frees up my web browsers. So I don't have this one web browser with all this crap that's in there just constantly doing this stuff. And it'll do notifications. So it'll actually pop a little notification on your Mac and say, hey, there's a new email waiting for you. And you can, set the notifications up however you want, just like you can on your phone.
Sure.
It's nice. I really like it.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I was just talking to one of my clients, and they're like, I know you said something somewhere, but like, it gets to a point where, was it on text message, email, Slack, Basecamp, or Asana? Because that's real life.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it'll search all that stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so, because of the fact that I'm looking at my work email, I'm looking at my personal email, WPwatercooler's emails in there, my other business and stuff. So like all these different things are all in one nice little easy click on a thing and you're done.
Does it have a mobile version?
No mobile version. It's just
only desktop.
Yeah. So the mobile equivalent would be using like Gmail's app and then switching apps.
Yeah. You know, I think that's really odd. And that's the thing that people are really, including me, had a hard time with Twitter's new thing. It's a lot of times we get way more features for our phones.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden Twitter looks like mobile and you're like, guys, we hate this.
Yeah. Well, it's same with like Slack. So like, for instance, when you're using the Slack app, Slack uses this thing called Electron, and Electron's the kind of the way that the app runs and connects to the Slack API and does all this stuff. Well, when you're using this within Zoom, instead of having a whole nother app running, you just have this one super app running that just has like all your stuff all in one spot.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty easy to use, and it makes it so that I can jump through all the different Google services. Like obviously I'm the admin of our domain. And so I can click on this thing up in the corner here and say, I want to log in as the admin for the domain. I want to click on this and it'll let me log into Google Keep or YouTube or our analytics stuff, or you name it, I can look at it. And it's all within this one little non-web browser. It's its own separate app made just for this stuff.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's lots of feature-rich things in there, and go take a look at it. Their website is, let's see here, Shift email, tryshift.com.
TryShift.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are like, try this, go this.
Well, yeah, if your thing's called like, dog, and you have to figure out a name for your thing, it's like, try dog. Okay. But so price-wise for this thing is you can run the basic version of it, which you get for free. And you get up to 2 email accounts, and that's it. And it also works with Gmail, Inbox, as well as Outlook. So if you're using any of those things, it'll work with those. And then they have a pro version of it for $29.99 a year, and then an advanced version of it for $99 a year, which gives you that search and all the Google Chrome extensions and all that.
That's actually not that expensive.
Not that expensive, and especially for something where I have a bunch of email addresses I've turned off in here that I monitor, our admin accounts and our, support accounts and just all of those kind of service account type things.
Yeah.
I can watch all those and not have to like jump between 500 different email, different instances of Gmail or whatever.
I know, because task switching, what in the world?
It sounds like somebody's flying a drone out your window.
Lord have mercy. One of the things that makes your brain lose about 10 points of IQ,
right?
Besides smoking pot, is task switching. And I wish that was a joke.
Sucks. Yeah.
But it literally does that. Not forever, but that's what happens.
Right.
It's a good thing that my neighbor downstairs has decided to use a leaf blower for some reason. Not sure why. But it shows
it's only almost 8 o'clock at night. It makes sense.
Last week, it was a weed whacker. Like, could you not do stuff Thursday nights?
Oh my gosh.
I love being in apartments so much.
Bridget, is there anything that you have going on? We got a couple more minutes left here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. WordCamp Dallas.
What's going on that we can help you out with?
WordCamp Dallas is accepting applications, speaker applications.
Okay.
And I applied because I might go with Code Brain. WordCamp Seattle is accepting accepting speaker applications. There's a new WordCamp in Long Beach, which is official now. Yes. Our friend Say Reed is on the committee, as well as Alex Vasquez. And they don't have their thing open, but guess what else is happening this year? WordCamp Las Vegas is happening, and they are accepting speaker applications until July 31. So I applied to Seattle and Las Vegas and Dallas. It's gonna be busy.
My gosh, are you?
I know. I hope I got selected. I just did one talk to each one, totally different talks. And when Long Beach happens, I'm gonna apply to that. There's a talk I've wanted to give for about 2 years. It keeps getting rejected because Vegas is the weekend before Pressnomics, which I'm definitely going to. Josh gave me a ticket, so hell yeah. And but I've wanted to give this TikTok forever. I'm sure our favorite audience has heard me say it, but the title is "Backward Compatibility is Good for WordPress, Not for Your Mental Health." And it's all about how we need to make breaking changes in our self-talk.
Okay.
It's something I believe in strongly. And for us in the computer industry, and I talk about this all the time with my friends, there's so many of us who came from difficult to dysfunctional backgrounds.
Yeah.
But the computer does what we say. So then all of a sudden we have an issue and we don't know how to deal with it. But what do we understand? We understand engineering. So re-engineering your self-talk and recognizing that you're wrapping around code that's deprecated code with new, like PHP 5.2 is deprecated, but you're running 7.2, 7.4 is coming out soon, but you're just wrapping that code with a new word. Like, I am unworthy is now I'm not a good enough developer. But the reaction is the same, you know?
Right.
And so I can't point anybody else. I'll just talk about my crazy life. And it's not that necessarily, but it's like, I literally had to edit something I put on Facebook. I'm like, since my personal life sucks so bad, I'm just going to apply to a bunch of WordCamps because I'm good at my work. But like, that's not good either, right? You can't take one for the other. And so one of my friends called me, I saw this. What is going on with you? I hate dating so hard. Dating and money and dental stuff and bills and, things just get out of hand. And sometimes you're just like, wow, I shouldn't even be alive. And you never should get to that point. But it's about, it's about reprogramming your brain.
Right.
And the way you talk to yourself. And so anyway, I figured if they take that, it's just going to be fate. And I'll just drive to Vegas, for a day, get the talk and come home. But I really want to go to Long Beach. I'm so excited that they're doing that. LA is so big that it just, I'm excited. For me, I'm excited because I couldn't travel for the first half of this year. So now I'm all good to go. I'm going to start kickboxing in August. I'm actually going to Montreal.
What?
Yes, I'm going with my client Postmatic to Vermont, working a road trip to WordCamp Montreal. How
cool is that?
It's so cool. Postmatic is doing some crazy cool stuff with WooCommerce. I'm not allowed to talk about it. That's all I can say. I'm so excited. It's like people are, just wait. Believing in people is so important. Encouraging each other is so important. We go through these. We all have hard times in our life, and Jason had some family issues with an undiagnosed child who's autistic. And I just decided I was going to take on his marketing. And so I did, and he let me. And then now things are going so crazy well. The family's got a stable environment. And he's like, should I go on podcasts? I'm like, hell yeah, you should go on podcasts. Everybody gets it. We all get it.
Right.
My husband died. I wasn't 100% for a good year.
Yeah.
I just now feel like I'm like, okay. And it's been 3 years. That's real life.
It's real life.
I'm super excited to go to Montreal. And hopefully we'll be going to more WordCamps. I think our 40-minute sponsor might be sending me to some.
Nice.
I might be going to some with Vendor Fuel this year. And I you know what? I love speaking, but more than that, I love teaching.
Right.
I love teaching.
I see that.
Because when somebody gets it, That's it. That's it. I had a 1 hour call this morning with one of my friends, and I started the day like, oh my God, I can't even do all the ab reps I used to do before my hysterectomy. And I felt like, oh, and then I get on this call with this person, an hour later, I'm like, yeah, the world is great. Who cares? I did 75 more abs than I did yesterday. Like, it doesn't matter. But like, you know, it's so easy to get when we work alone, and this is where we work. It's in our homes. It's so easy to just go inward, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm super glad for the show, for your friendship, and for the WordPress community. No matter what bullshit happens from politics, it's going to happen no matter what. The truth is, we have an amazing community and a story.
That's it. Bridget, thank you very much for being on the show with me today. As always, thank you for all for enjoying this content. And if you did enjoy this content, click the little thumbs up button, the like button, the star button, the bell, the whatever it is that's on the thing that you're looking at, because we stream this everywhere. And also, I would love it if you were to hit the little share button and tag Bridget and I in it. Bridget, what's your Twitter handle?
You too can be guru.
And I'm Jason Tucker. So feel free to tag us in those. We would love to see it. And that's it. So thank you very much for our sponsors and for all of you for hanging out with us. You have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.
Bye.